Welcome to my channel. My name is Ria and this is the astrology for the week of 25th July to 31st July 2022. Now this is an important week. There is a lot happening. We have the Uranus North Node conjunction this week at the end of the week on 31st July. We have a new moon in Leo on 28th July. On the same day, Jupiter goes retrograde. We also have Venus squaring Jupiter, Mercury squaring Uranus, Mercury squaring Mars, Mercury opposing Saturn, and the Sun trining Jupiter. So there's a lot to talk about this week. So let's get started, and I'm going to go day wise, right? What happens in the beginning and then what happens towards the end. And the last thing I am going to talk about is the Uranus North Node conjunction. So on Monday and Pacific time, this happens on Sunday 24th July, but most of the world this is going to be Monday. Venus here squares Jupiter, makes a 90-degree angle, right, which is considered challenging in astrology. And Venus is the planet of relationships, of self-worth, of values, and Jupiter is a magnifier. Right. So with this aspect, relationships, finances, self-worth, projects, these are highlighted. Jupiter is magnifying them. So our attention, our focus can go towards these things a little bit more Sunday into Monday. Right. And Jupiter is also a benefic. It does bring gifts and lessons. So on the positive, it can lead to something positive connected to relationships and projects and self-worth and values and skills. But it can also urge us to learn a lesson, right? Jupiter is a teacher. That's what it does. It teaches us something. So with this aspect, we might need to learn something connected to relationships. Now, it could be that we need to learn to change our way of being in a relationship. Maybe we need to learn some other lesson, right? But whatever this aspect is, it can bring lessons. So that's Monday for most of the world, Sunday Pacific time, right? A lot of focus and attention on relationships and projects and self-worth and values and skills, and perhaps the potential of something positive coming about in these matters, or simply a lesson we must learn, right? That's Monday. And on Monday we have the moon in the sign of Cancer. So the moon rules the sign of Cancer, and the moon stays in a particular sign for 2.5 days or so. And for those 2.5 days, the energy changes slightly depending on where the moon is, right? And the moon is Cancer, is an energy that's focused on home, on nourishing ourselves, on taking care of ourselves. So these so anything to do with taking care of yourself, self-care, taking time out, resting, going within, is supported with the moon in the sign of Cancer. And on Tuesday, right, we have an important event. So I'm going to move up the chart and then we will see this. We have Mercury here square Mars, right? It's squaring Mars. Mercury, the planet of our logical mind, of our communication, of our thinking, of our day-to-day, all these matters, is making a challenging aspect with Mars, the planet of action and making things happen, and our energy and drive, right? But this is a challenging aspect, so there can be two manifestations for this. This can give us a lot of energy and drive to work on our day-to-day, work on our health, work on whatever we do as our job. It can give us tremendous amounts of energy and drive to take action and make things happen, right? If you want to start a new diet plan, it can give you that energy. If you want to go start a new routine, it can give you that energy. But with a square, the change, the energy to do something or change something connected to diet, lifestyle, health, routine, job, our immediate environment, our thinking, can feel stressful. It can be a feeling of, what, this is not working, I have to change this. And then we have the energy to do it. So that's what a square does. It pushes us, it pressurizes us, it challenges us so that we change something. And in this case, in order to change our Mercury related things, diet, health, lifestyle, job, routine, thinking, communication, social media, immediate environment, we have the energy, but it may come after a little bit of stress. What we need to watch out for with this aspect is this tendency to speak maybe with a little bit of anger, or speak without thinking impulsively, right? Because Mars is impulsive, Mars is aggressive, Mars is anger and frustration, and Mercury is also our speech, right? It's how we communicate. So this can lead to, maybe communicating in an angry way, or saying something without thinking that you might regret later on. So just be mindful of this energy. And I'm going to move up the chart now to Thursday, where we have Jupiter go retrograde, we have the new moon, and we'll talk about those things. And the moon on Tuesday is still in Cancer, so that energy of going within, focusing on our needs, taking care of ourselves, that still continues. Now, moving on to Thursday, I'm going to move up the chart and then we'll see. So let me pull up the chart to the new moon and then we'll see it. So it's about, give me a sec. So yeah, on Thursday we have a new moon in Leo, and I do make a new moon video. So if you want to know more in detail about this new moon, you can watch my new moon video, and I mention where the new moon might be depending on your sun and rising sign in that video. So if you're interested, you can check that out. It should be on my channel, or will be on my channel very soon. So on Thursday we have a new moon in Leo, right? This is a new moon, and new moons are points of new beginnings, right? New beginnings for the next 28 days or so. New energy comes in on a new moon, it seeds itself, and we work on that energy for the entire lunar month. It's not a very visible process, it's subtle. A new moon is when there's no moon in the sky, right? It's dark out. So whatever is seeding itself, usually it's seeding itself. We might not be very clear as to what that energy is on a new moon. And on a full moon, which is the brightest night of the month, right? Because the moon is full, that's when we can begin to see a little more clearly as to what the energy was on the new moon. So new moons generally are points where setting intentions, right, is a good thing maybe, but it's the seeding of an energy. So that's what a new moon is, and this one's in the sign of Leo. So Leo is the sign that's associated with following our heart, right? It's the sign of doing what we love, right? It's a very creative energy. It's an energy that thrives in creativity, actually. So being creative, following our heart, doing what we love, right? These are the basic themes that will be touched upon with this new moon. However, that being said, what is more important is where this new moon is in your personal chart, right? So you can watch my new moon video to know where it is, a ballpark idea, or you can, if you know your chart, then you can just look at which house 5 degrees of Leo is, and that's where this new energy is coming in for you. Now, the most important thing with this new moon is the fact that Uranus and the North Node are super close, right? Super close. And now I'm going to talk about this energy, and then we'll kind of tie it into the new moon. So Uranus is the planet of change, right? Uranus loves change. It's the disruptor. It's the energy that likes to break free, right? It likes to break free from the old, from the traditional, from what's not working, right? And it says, let's change to what's working. Let's change and embrace new ways. Let's progress, right? Uranus is progress. So that's Uranus, and Uranus is this energy that's unpredictable, right? That's that's not very okay, change is building up. No, it can be sudden, it can be unpredictable, it can be difficult to really anticipate what the Uranian change will be. So it's this unpredictable progressive energy that thrives on change. And the North Node is a magnifier, right? It magnifies any energy that's in contact with it. And in this case, it's magnifying Uranus, right? Sudden change, unexpected change, awakenings, disruption, all these things are extremely magnified. And this is a conjunction that's happening after 15 years. So it's been a while, right, since we've felt this energy. And so why am I talking about this for the new moon? I'm talking about this because the new moon is going to seed this Uranus North Node energy with it, right? It's going to seed it, which means for the entire lunar month, all the way up until end of August, right, when we have the new moon, we will be working on integrating this change that we have been going through, and that's going to peak on 31st July. So it's going to help us integrate that big change, the change we're building up to in our lives. So that's what the new moon is seeding, right? It's essentially a lunar month where we will try to incorporate and integrate this change that we have been going through, and will peak out on 31st July. Now, this new moon is in a trine with Jupiter. Jupiter, like I said before, is a benefic. It's also a teacher, right? So this is infusing this new moon with some positivity. It can also be that we learn certain lessons on this new moon. And Jupiter is a magnifier as well, right? So it is magnifying the new energy coming in, right? So it can be a big energy that's coming in because Jupiter is contacting this moon. And I'm just going to speak that much about the moon in this video. The details are in my new moon video if you want to watch that. And on the same day, right, we have a few more things going on. We have Uranus and Mercury squaring, and Mercury is squaring this conjunction, you can say, right? And this is also part of the new moon energy because it's happening on the new moon. And what this can bring is a lot of awakening, right? Uranus, like I said, is an awakener. It's a lot of energy, and it's being magnified and highlighted with the North Node, and in a square, a challenging aspect, it is contacting our logical mind, Mercury, right? So this can be a day where there's this huge burst of energy that helps us awaken, right? Awaken our mind. Or it can be this energy that helps us, get a lot of insights and epiphanies and ideas and downloads, right? It's a lot of mental stimulation to awaken us, mental stimulation in the form of ideas and thoughts and epiphanies, or mental stimulation that can lead us to feel restless and anxious. So, right, that's the other manifestation of this energy, because Uranus is this burst of energy, right? It's like a lot of energy and then nothing. It's extreme, and we have this extreme energy contacting our logical mind. So what we want to watch out for is feeling anxious, feeling restless, feeling agitated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling frazzled, right? So we want to watch out for that with this aspect. But it's a great energy for, brainstorming and getting ideas and awakening, right? If you've been maybe stuck on a spiritual question or spiritual answer that you're not getting, then this might bring that to you. So this is that aspect. But be careful of the negative manifestation of this energy. And if we know, then we can really manage that, right? We can manage that. And this energy is part of the new moon as well. Now, the next thing that I want to touch upon is the fact that Jupiter here goes retrograde on 28th July, right? On the day of the new moon. Now, Jupiter is the planet of blessings and rewards and healing, and Jupiter has been in Aries since 10th of May, right? So since then, we've had this new cycle that started, right? Jupiter comes back into a sign after 12 years, and Aries is the beginning point of the zodiac. So when it enters Aries, which it did on May 10th, we begin a new 12-year cycle. So since May, we've been in this new energy of trying to make things happen and take action, but we may not have felt it in the month of May so much because Mercury was also retrograde, right? And Mercury got out of retrograde on June 3rd. So since June 3rd, maybe, there's been a lot of energy asking us to step into the new, to start things, to do things, to make things happen. So that's Jupiter in Aries after 12 years, starting this new cycle with this new energy, infusing us with courage and drive and ambition to go after what we want. And now it's going to go retrograde, which is not a negative thing, right? I mean, all the planets go retrograde every year. It's something we are so used to. It's nothing like out of the ordinary. So Jupiter going retrograde just means that we will review and reprocess all the things that we have considered or wanted to act on or wanted to begin. We will take a second look at those things that we wanted to do since May 10th. My chart shut off for some reason, so I just reopened it. We were talking about Jupiter, right? So there we go, Jupiter. So it's going to help us take a second look at these things, maybe review, how we want to start things, how we want to move forward. It's a review process. It's essentially a second take at all the things we've wanted to begin and start and have started in a way. It's a review process for that. And as far as the blessings and gifts and rewards and lessons go, yes, when Jupiter is retrograde, we don't feel like new things, new gifts, new blessings, new healing is coming our way. But that's because we're reviewing, right? But that's because we're working on what we started. It's the continuation of that work, but with the mindset of reviewing it and making it better. So Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and this is in Aries, and then it will retrograde back into Pisces as well. And when it retrogrades back into Pisces, then I will talk about Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. And Jupiter actually really likes to be in Pisces, right? Because it used to rule Pisces. In traditional rulership, Jupiter used to rule Pisces and Sag, but now it only rules Sag. Neptune is now the ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter likes Pisces also, and we'll talk about its retrograde in Pisces when we get to that. So on Thursday, yes, it's Thursday, 28th July, that Jupiter will retrograde as well. And now I'm going to move on to the highlight of this week, 31st July, Sunday. Let me move up the chart and then we'll see it. So on Sunday, we have Uranus and the North Node conjunct, 1841, right? They are conjunct, exact. And look at Mars. Mars is so close, right? So let's talk about this. And so let's begin. So Uranus, like I said, is change, and what this conjunction means is big change, right? Major change. And we have been feeling this change. It's not that on 31st it's just going to happen overnight. We have been building up to it, right? These are big energies. They're slow moving energies. Uranus is really slow. It takes 84 years to go over the zodiac once, right? So it's very slow. So we feel it coming. We feel it. And we've been feeling it all of July. We've been even working on it all of July because Mars has been in Taurus, right? Helping us work towards this big change. And the full moon in Capricorn on 13th July helped us prep in a way for this big change because that one was conjunct Pluto. Some transformation, right? Some releasing, some catharsis, some healing to get us ready for the Uranus North Node conjunction. And another reason we kind of have an inkling, but we'll know exactly what this change is when it happens, because Uranus is unpredictable, is because we have an inkling because we had eclipses, right, on the Taurus-Scorpio axis back in April and May, April 30th to May 15th. And eclipses are karmic points, and they happen in Taurus and Scorpio. And the Sun, Venus, and Mercury have all gone over Taurus. We have been working on Taurus, right? Wherever Taurus is for us, we've been working on this change that's building up for us in a subtle way, and we kind of have an inkling because of that, especially because the eclipses were here. And now the change is finally going to happen in an energetic way, right? Because the conjunction is going to come exact. So this is that conjunction, and this can bring a sudden change, it can bring an unpredictable change, so just be mindful of that. And with Uranus, right, what we need to be mindful of is being overwhelmed, feeling a little chaotic, because Uranus can also bring chaos. So just be mindful of these things, and the way to handle this energy is to be open to change, right? It's to be open to it, because that's what this energy demands of us. It's demanding us to change what's not serving us. And in our personal lives, this can also help us break free, right? Break free from something that might not serve us anymore, something that's holding us back a little bit. So it's about breaking free as well. It's about letting go of things that don't serve us. It's about embracing the new. It's about change, progressive change, right? Uranus is progressive. It's considered the most progressive energy. It's also considered an energy that's brilliant and associated with genius. So it's this really, brilliant energy that can help us break past patterns, break free from the old, break free from anything that's not serving us in our lives. It can help us. And Mars, right next to it, can give us the energy, the drive, the courage, the initiative to, make that change, to break free from something that's not serving us anymore. But I will say that this energy in its negative manifestation can be a lot, right? Mars is also the planet of anger and frustration and aggression, right? And Uranus is unpredictable. Uranus is sudden. Uranus is extreme. And it's sitting right next to the North Node. North Node is just magnifying all this, right? So what we need to be mindful of is sudden bursts of anger, right? Aggression that can come out of nowhere, because that is magnified as well, right? So is the unpredictable nature of Uranus. And Uranus usually is also associated with extreme weather, right? So that's something to be aware of as well. And in the sign of Taurus, on a more larger scale, Taurus is associated with currencies, it's associated with the economy, with finances. Along with Scorpio, Taurus is a financial sign. It's also the earth, right? It's the earth, it's an earth sign. And it's fixed earth, right? It's earth. It's also raw materials. It's also food resources. So all these themes are being highlighted with this conjunction, and they have been since the beginning of the year. I think it was Jan 18th or 19th, around then, that the nodes changed signs, right? The nodes left Gemini and Sag and entered Taurus, and Scorpio and the North Node is what? A magnifier. Since Jan, it's been magnifying Taurus, and then Taurus became really, really magnified and highlighted when? In the month of April and May. Especially May, because in May we had Taurus season, the sun was there, right? And April, beginning May, we had eclipses there, we had Venus and Mercury there. around that time. So Taurus was extremely highlighted back then. And then if you see, there was just North Node, and like everything moved on. Mercury moved on, Venus moved on, the Sun moved on. But since 5th of July, Mars has come in, right? Making us work towards this change, giving us more glimpses of what this change is. And now we're at this point where there's this big energy of Uranus and the North Node here. So these themes are still highlighted. And that's the conjunction in a nutshell, right? So on Sunday, we also have a couple more things, so I will talk about that, and then maybe I'll just talk about a few general things, and then we will close it out, right? So we also have Mercury here oppose Saturn, right? And I think this is Saturday into Sunday, depending on your location. I'm not really sure. Let me see. I did note it down. Yeah, so it's Saturday some places and Sunday some other places. Mercury is opposing Saturn. And Mercury is our mind, right? It's our communication and thinking. And Saturn is structure. Saturn is... Okay, I forgot to mention something, so I will come back to that. But let's finish this aspect first. So Saturn is structure. Saturn is discipline. It's decisions. It's order, and it is opposing our mind, right? Mercury, it is opposing the planet of communication, the planet of our routine and health and job and diet and lifestyle and our immediate environment, right? Mercury is a lot of little things. So what this can do is it can help us streamline something to do with communication, something to do with our diet, health, lifestyle, routine, job, or our immediate environment. We can perhaps give something order connected to these things. Maybe we start to structure things connected to these things in a better way. But this is an opposition, right? So although there's this energy of deciding, streamlining, giving structure and order, it might feel challenging, right? It might feel like I need to do this. I don't kind of want to, but I need to, right? That stress. I need to integrate things in my life, and for that I need to change these things in my diet, lifestyle, routine, health, job, etc. So this is that aspect. But what to watch out for with this is a feeling of feeling slightly low, right? Saturn is this energy that can make us feel low, and Mercury is our mind, right? So what we need to do is keep ourselves upbeat and excited. So this is there, and the excitement or the extreme energy will be there because Uranus and the North Node are conjuncting on the same day. And what I wanted to mention was that Saturn here is squaring the nodes. It's squaring the Uranus North Node conjunction. And let's talk about that a little bit. Right, let me just put it on the chart. Saturn is squaring the nodes. So Saturn has been in a square with the nodes since April. On April 11th, this square came exact, but since then it's been squaring it, right? Even so, my chart shut down again for some reason. Anyway, coming back to Saturn. So Saturn's been squaring the nodes since April, a little bit before that, and a planet in an aspect with the nodes is magnified, right? The nodes, the North Node Rahu, the South Node Ketu are karmic points in a chart, right? So is Saturn. So karma is highlighted. So is, this need to decide and streamline things in our lives, but so is this feeling of feeling restricted and limited, because Saturn can bring this feeling of feeling restricted and limited, right? So that is being highlighted, and why it's relevant right now is because if you look at the chart, right, Saturn is squaring this energy, right? And there are two things I want to touch upon connected to this. The first is that it is providing a grounding influence to the Uranus North Node conjunction, which can be very extreme. And if Saturn wasn't there, limiting it, restricting it, controlling it, giving it a certain order and structure, right, this energy would be way more extreme than it is right now. The second thing I want to talk about is, if you look at the chart this week, right, Uranus and Saturn are less than 5 degrees apart, right? And what this means is that the Saturn-Uranus square has been activated again, right? Because the orb now is getting closer. Orb is the difference of degrees, right? Uranus is at 18, Saturn is at 22, 4 degrees, right? So they're getting close. And to give you context, Saturn and Uranus squared last year, 2021, and the square came exact 3 times, once in Feb, once in June, once in December, right? And this is something that's happening after the year 2000, right? The last time Saturn and Uranus squared was in 2000, and back then Uranus was in Aquarius and Saturn was in Taurus. They were flipped, and we haven't felt this since then, but we felt it with a lot of intensity last year. And what this can bring is this need to break free, right? Need to break free from the old, from the traditional, but this also brings with it a feeling of feeling restricted, right? Because Uranus is, it likes to, it's a lot of energy, it's the new, it's progress, and Saturn is traditional, Saturn is control. So there's been this need, this tug of war, you can say, between the old and the new, right? So the new wants to come in and the old is still kind of there, right? This tug of war between embracing the new and letting go of the old. And we felt that a lot in 2021. And this is also an energy in our personal lives that can ask us, that can ask us to really look at what we need to let go of, what we need to shed, what are the old patterns, right? What are the old structures? What are the old systems, right? All these things are Saturn: systems, structure, order. What is the old? What is the traditional that's not serving you in your life? That was the big question of 2021. And now, again, that big question is coming back, right? What is it that you need to let go of? And right now, you see Uranus is with the North Node. There's a lot of energy for change right now. But what this is asking of us is embrace your uniqueness, embrace who you are, embrace what you want, embrace, anything that's good for you, right? Good for you, and let go of the old. So that's what this aspect is asking. And on a larger scale, this can feel restrictive slightly, this can feel limiting slightly, and we've been feeling that, right? It's a feeling we've been feeling, it's nothing new. So all I'm saying is that it can feel a little bit more now, because the Saturn-Uranus square is getting close, and it will be most intense, I believe, in October, right around October. So we'll talk about it then. So let me see if I missed out on anything. Yeah, I did miss out on something, but I mentioned that in the new moon, and that's the Sun trine Jupiter, right? The new moon was in a trine with Jupiter. The Sun is going to trine Jupiter exact on the 31st. Right, the day of the Uranus-North Node conjunction, the day of the Mercury-Saturn opposition. So what this can bring is a certain sense of positivity, right? Or it can bring lessons as well. Right now, the Sun is our soul, it's our consciousness, it's the deepest part of who we are. Right, that's the Sun, the soul. And with Jupiter aspecting it, these might be lessons that we need to learn at a soul level. These might be lessons that can help us grow our consciousness. These are lessons that might be connected to who we are. Or these can also be blessings, because Jupiter is a benefic. So this is what is happening on Sunday as well. Overall, this is an extremely important week, right? Extremely important week, and a lot happening. A lot can, a lot of energy to change, and embracing change is the best way to navigate these aspects, this energy, right? So that's the week in a nutshell. And One interesting fact that I did mention in the new moon video as well is that this conjunction of Uranus and the North Node in Vedic astrology is happening in the sign of Aries. And I know, before I move on, that in Vedic we do not really consider the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, but just as a fun thing, I like to see where it's happening in Vedic and that sort of thing. So in Vedic, it's happening in the sign of Aries, and it's happening in the nakshatra of Bharani. Right now, nakshatras are smaller divisions of a sign, right? And they have their own significance, they have their own interpretations, they have their own meanings. And Bharani is this nakshatra that's associated with renewal, right? It's this energy of destruction for the sake of creation. And it's interesting that this conjunction is happening in the nakshatra of Bharani in Vedic, which is a lot about, letting go of the old, destroying the old to make room for the new. So I just thought I'd share that interesting thing. Overall, I'd say this is an important week. A lot of energy to make change, a lot of energy to embrace change, and that's the way to handle this energy. And this lunar month with this new moon in Leo will be about incorporating this change in our lives, right? Working with this change, integrating it into our lives, into our consciousness. So that's the week in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.